Good evening. Welcome back to Dose of Reality with Shukri. Today, my guest is Mohammed Haji. Please welcome Mohammed Haji to Dose of Reality. He has some interesting story to tell us how he started being a great author. He's a comic book writer. So, Mohammed, welcome to Dose of Reality.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Shukri. Hi, everyone. I've been watching Dose of Reality on the sideline, so to kind of be on it feels nice. So,
Mhm.
thank you for having me. My name is Mohammed Haji.
Mohammed, are you there? Mohammed, are you there? Valerie, could you check if Mohammed is still there? I think, okay. Uh, okay. No, let's just wait for him a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted, I'm doing an artist day today. So I chose Mohammed. He's a great book writer, and the reason why I have him in the show is to tell us to kind of send a message out there for all the authors and writers and just people who are interested of wanting to write a book. I've always wanted to do that, but about my story, but we'll see how that goes. So just getting a little bit of history back and just the mindset of how they do these things and how they come along and how long it takes is what we're trying to get, and why they choose such stories and being a great artist in our community that have to be recognized, especially with their hard work. I have aired a lot amazing authors such as Abdi Iftin, who is from Maine, who wrote Call Me America. I have had Ruqia, who was in our show yesterday also, who wrote A Better Parenting. And also I have who else did I had? Valerie, remember another person? I think I did a couple of authors. And there are some interesting people coming on to our show soon, inshallah, about the books that they wrote and how it's impacting in our community. So we're excited about it. Is Mohammed in yet or not?
Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry, I
Okay,
disconnected. I didn't know what happened.
no
So
problem.
I finished the intro and I was just frozen.
Sure. So go ahead and introduce yourself again. I was just telling
Oh,
people how great authors we have in our community and the great books that they have written. So tell us a little bit about yourself and after introduction.
my name is Mohammed Haji. I live in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, St. Paul. I'm an actor, poet, author, and I published Laylo, the first Somali comic book, June of last year, actually. So it's about a year old. On the 22nd will be the first year anniversary since we launched it. I grew up in South Africa. I moved to the States in 2015. I had my first role in 2017 in Siyasat Damanta,
Mhm.
and from there on, it was like a drug. I just couldn't look back. So it kind of became like, what am I going to do next? Maxaa qabanaya? So Siyasat Damanta kadib, waxaan sameeyey A Crack in the Sky, which was based on the true story of Ahmed Ismail Yusuf, the author from Minnesota. I'm sure you have met him. Yes,
Yes, I did an
Ahmed Ismail.
interview with him. That was the guy I was looking for. Yes.
Yes. And to be honest, for me that was one of the biggest moments, and also an eye opener of what's actually needed in the community. So that's how my journey started. And when I was writing Layla, I mean, I still have a lot of ideas. I have scripts that were written, then I had plays, things were lined up, but my focus kind of changed to children because ilmaha wadankan waa la ilooway.
Mhm.
And Ingiriis markay ku hadlaan waa la blame garanaya, af Soomaali fiican ay ku hadlaan wax baraya malahan because everybody, waa inuu cararo shaqadiisa qabto waaye.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, they have access to social media, technology, haystaan. every day waxay daawadaan ayaka wax u eg ma lahan ama
Mhm.
ayaka camal wax u hadlaya ma lahan. So for me it was more like how do I represent these kids, because I know what it feels like, you know, to never see someone that does what you love the most. I grew up playing football my whole life, and you know I couldn't name a single professional Somali player.
Mhm.
So it was more like, now that I'm acting, you know, now that I'm writing these things, how far do I want to go? How serious do I want to take? Um, who am I trying to influence? You know, why am I trying to do that? So I
Mhm.
kind of had to go back to myself, ask myself those questions. It took me about a year. It took me over a year actually, you know, to just be satisfied with my answers, with
Mhm.
why I'm doing it, with who am I doing for, and that's how actually Layla came into play.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that introduction of your background work. The thing I wanted to ask you was that how would you tell us what made you start this career of just wanting to be a writer?
So
The
it's
interesting.
funny. It's funny because I never wanted to be a writer, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, but I don't even think that's something that someone could want. I
Mhm.
could be wrong, you know. I grew up playing soccer my whole life, or football as we call it,
Mhm.
and that's what I wanted to be.
Okay.
You
So you
know,
want.
yeah, Ronaldinho, Messi, like, you know. So I grew up playing that my whole life, and I grew up in South Africa. That was the first sport. That's the only thing that people do there.
Okay.
And I remember I got in touch with my older cousin, and she was in medical school that time, and I was probably a preteen then. So we used to talk, and I remember she used to say, "Hey, cousin, I think you're a poet," and I'm like, "Why do you keep on saying that?" Because she says the way you write things or the way you word yourself is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really pay attention to that because I knew what a poet was, but that was all I knew.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
So
that's
sometimes we have something that we don't recognize ourselves, right? And somebody
100%.
else literally
Yes,
looks at you and they know that, oh, this
yes,
person is different and is good at this, and then they
yes,
direct you to that. So I'm sure they directed you to the right thing that you are enjoying doing it right now. Is that right?
yes. So the funny thing is, I think it took me a long time. I can't really remember to
Mhm.
actually believe that. You know what I mean, right? I was capable
That's
of
right.
writing anything. Um, but then the funny thing is, I attempted writing once, and I didn't look back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my best friend Qadar, Qadar Abdurrahman, he's in South Africa right now. Me and him, he had an old computer in his room.
Mm-hmm.
So in the evenings, I will go to his house, and you know, we used to rhyme, like just look words that rhymes together,
Mm-hmm.
go online, listen to this, listen to that. So at that moment, for me, it wasn't a book approach. It wasn't any approach. It was basically learning how to rhyme, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of attempted doing music, but in that period, I shifted into poetry.
Oh wow, nice. So, why did you choose a comic book? Especially in our society, we are kind of not into comics and things like
Hmm.
that. Because I'm
Hmm.
aware of other writers are more like novels and our past history and our changes of our history right now and how we're
Hmm.
blending in into United States. And because I've had other authors come to the show and they all have this different type of stories, that it
Hmm.
links in back to our society and our community and our upbringing and our background at home.
100%.
Why did you choose comic as with the pictures, and tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. Horta, you're right. Runtaada waaye. MashaAllah, congratulations to, you know, every Somali person that published something.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of waxay ka hadlayso, nolosheeda hadday ka hadlayso ama fiction tahay, whatever it is. Now, to uh to go back to why I decided a comic book, to be honest with you, I still sometimes I have hard time actually believing that, you know, it actually went through.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, like It's actually out there. So the reason why I chose comic book was growing up, I was very aware,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was very aware, especially of what someone says,
Yes.
because
Like a win lose game. Like,
exactly,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
because words are really powerful, right? And I remember playing soccer and being really good at it, having a strong team and growing up outside as an immigrant. There was a lot of awful moments that no kid should ever feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we felt smaller because we didn't really have anyone to represent us,
Mm-hmm.
and which was a sad reality at that moment. So when I came here, and my first role was my second role, Ahmed Ismail Yusuf. um we used to do it for school kids
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday mornings. And I remember whenever those Somali kids came, I don't think they were expecting, skinny, tall Somali guy with, you know, it really is the truth. They were not accepting it. And I remember every morning that I went on that stage, one thing I hated it because imagine, having like hundreds of kids there, and it was loud, and a lot of times, they don't really understand the context because they're elementary kids and things like that. But what I really loved was, as soon as they notice that I'm Somali,
Mm-hmm.
everything will change. you
Mashallah.
know in the aspect of, I could literally see some kids in the crowd, that were not taking their eyes off me, even when I wasn't saying anything, even when I wasn't the character that was in action. I remember this one particular kid, one of my co-actors, came to me and she's like, "Hey, did you see that kid?" And I'm like, "Which kid?" She said, "That kid in blue. He just can't take his eyes off you." And quite frankly, I decided that I was gonna create more feelings like that.
Good, good.
Yes.
The resembling of you being there with those kids and recognizing a Somali guy that is
Mm-hmm.
part of that. You know what impresses me with your work is the fact that you're different. Yeah.
I
Um.
appreciate you.
Yani,
Thank you.
yani, what I mean is that your stories are different. You're capturing the mindset of the younger kids and what they think when they look at a cartoon where they're watching cartoon. Now
Exactly.
you want to bring them to the books and you are focusing on that. This is how you read it, and I will add what you have in mind for a child mindset to
Mm-hmm.
focus on the
Mm-hmm.
book reading. So what are the kind of stories are you telling these kids? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So, for the last 2 years, actually, I have been working as a TA and behavior interventionist with elementary kids at a charter school.
Mm-hmm.
So my first year at that place, I was in the third grade, second grade, and then last year I did one-on-one up to sixth grade behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in today's kids are different,
Yeah,
you know
that's
um especially in America, our kids are really fond of superheroes. They believe so much of them. Every time that they get 10 minutes free time or 5 minutes free time, that's the only thing they will do. YouTube ala galaya, qof
mm-hmm.
kasta channel uu ku subscribe garaysan yahay.
That's
They
right.
up to date with markii la post garaynayo, because notification ka u shidan, all of that. So I was I just started paying so much attention to that. And then they all had one thing in common.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
The one thing they had in common was all of them wanted to be a YouTuber one.
Okay.
But the one thing that they 100% had in common was they were all disappointed because there was no Somali person
Oh, okay.
that was doing
The comic.
some of the contents that they actually enjoy. And what
Okay.
are those contents? So it's cartoon, which
Mm-hmm.
goes back to comic,
Yes.
um video game streaming,
Mm-hmm.
just kid stuff. So I was like, okay, these kids love these things. They're growing up in America, and as a society, as a community, quite frankly, we are failing our kids, we are failing our youth. um we live in the cities. Every politician is a human being when there's a tragedy, because that's the only way they can get the votes, being pictured at that scene. But those are dying or going to jail or whatever the tragedy might be. But what about the ones who are coming up?
That's correct.
We focusing so much on the negativity
That's
that
true.
we forgetting about the minds that we can change and raise.
Mhm.
So I thought to myself, maybe by creating a comic book, showing this young girl that she can be a YouTuber without having to take a hijab off, or he can write books and go to Hollywood, without selling his faith or sacrificing his identity. um and I thought, how could I do that? Could I do that in a novel? No, it will be too late by the time they understand that. Could I do that in a film? It might take forever to do that.
Mhm.
I chose comic book because it's a beautiful language that they understand.
That's correct.
Because when they look at comic book, they are free. They see superheroes. They see themselves and people that they want to be.
That's correct. Thank you so much. That's amazing, and it's a very unique way of bringing kids to reading.
Thank you.
Especially at this point where everything is so electronic and media and all those things. So just bringing these kids to the books and with an interesting stories that you're writing for them, and just the mindset of like, hey, you know what? It's fun. Also, you will see
Hmm.
what you want to see not on the TV but also in a book. So yeah,
Exactly.
thank you so much. And Mohammed, just a little bit of question. As at this generation, where
Hmm.
do you see writers at the age of your ages and the upcoming ones? Where do you see it?
um to be honest, I'm humbled to answer that question. And I also don't feel like I'm qualified to fully answer that yet, because I only wrote one book. You have people like Uncle Ahmed Ismail, who has a couple under his belt. But from my own journey, from my own experiences, um, it's beautiful to tell our stories, right? It's beautiful to share our culture.
Mhm.
Um, but it's also beautiful to have imaginary escape.
Mhm. Okay,
If we just focus on reality, reality could be exhausting.
that's true. Yeah.
And it's something that children cannot handle at the moment, because we're struggling to handle that. So I do see a bright future,
Mhm.
but I do hope that we expand.
For artistic people, in
Yeah, exactly. Mideeda kale, and expand waxa waaye sheekooyin badan aa jiro.
Mhm.
Qofka rafaad way jirtaa, farxad way jirtaa, geeri, nolol, waxaas dhan way jiraan.
صح.
Kulli inaan ka wada qorno, laakiinse aanan iloowin ilmaha yayarka ah.
وحي
Sideen maskaxdooda ku korin karnaa?
صح. That's true. Exactly. That's a very
Mhm.
that's a good one. Thank you, Mohammed. That's a
Thank you.
good. Yeah. um we're looking for. I know Rahma Rodan from Canada once was in my talk show, and she created books for kids, and she wanted to connect them with seeing themselves as
Mhm, mhm,
Muslim kids, who they can read books that connects them in Islamically way, and
mhm.
the culture way and things like that. And now you created a whole different unique comic book that brings the attentions of the kids, of their needs, of mindset, where how young they are and how to enjoy that. So you guys are doing a pretty great job. What are
Thank
the
you.
future thoughts you have for yourself moving forward right now?
Um, shout out to Sister Rahma. MashaAllah. I'm
She's been
I'm
great.
glad. I'm glad that she took the religious approach, because me personally, as an actor, I'm not only African, I'm not only immigrant, but I'm also Muslim,
صح.
right? But I'm also not willing to sell that out either.
Good.
I have to be very conscious about the roles that I take, the characters that I create, what I expose, the topic, because as an artist, my goal is to be a Muslim throughout.
That's right.
To be a Muslim, to make sure that nothing changes of my faith, that my faith becomes the diversity that the creative platform lacks,
That,
right?
mhm.
Because in today's age we are told that you have, you have to do a certain role, or you have to dress a certain way, or to speak a certain accent to
Mm-hmm.
make it. And my goal is to be consistent in what I'm doing right now, which is 100% culture oriented, 100% Somali oriented, Islam being the main cover of it. So I want to say congratulations to Abaya Rahman for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn and hopefully connect with her someday. But
Sure.
the next step is to actually do animation,
Mm-hmm.
turn the book into a series animated, and hopefully have that pitched into a couple of networks.
Good, good. That's exciting. That's exciting. That
Thank you.
sounds like a fun thought you have for the future.
Yeah, it's exhausting, trust me.
Hey, you're doing it. Tell me the journey for you to write a book. Tell me your advantage and disadvantage that you've come along.
um Alhamdulillah, horta, whatever disadvantage that I'm about to mention, I don't want people to think that I'm complaining. It's in the
Mhm.
past. So
That's right.
Alhamdulillah, we overcame it. But
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of challenges, quite frankly, because markaa wadanka imaaday, macnaha dadka kale iska daa, ajanabiga iska daa, macnaha dadkayga inay serious i qaataan keliya muddo igu qaadatay. Because qof oo shalay Africa ka imaadaa tahay.
Mm-hmm.
Qof kasta wuxuu ku leeyahay, oh Shukri, atariisho maa noqonaysaa? Ha, okay. Qof kasta macnaha waxaa ka dhaadhacsan qof yaro qaxooti hadda imaado,
What do you get?
oo yaro wareersan ba. Soomaali waxay dhahdaa labo kala barida kala warlac, ma ogtahay?
Okay. What does
Um,
that mean?
oh.
I'm bad at it.
No, I know. Ingiriis ma ku dhihi kari because macnihi dhan aa
It
jajabayo.
will
But
change.
it's yeah, but it's more like, it's more like when two people are apart, they don't really have the same plan, they don't really have the same mindset, the same environment kind of thing.
That's true.
So even when I was in South Africa, I had a couple of successful auditions.
Mm-hmm.
The projects never went through. So my journey actually started from there. It's not
Okay.
something that was born in America. My journey goes back to probably 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Wow.
young when I started. Yes, so I came here. I was doing overnights. I was doing 10 to 7 a.m. I still had my acting job. I was still going to school, and I was going through a lot of challenges artistically, because why do I have to do a comic book?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't have anyone to go ask for advice or to mentor me,
Mm-hmm.
especially as far as the community goes, because qof sameeye ma lahayn. So taas keliya waxay ugu qaadatay sanad iyo waxyaabo ka badan
Okay.
in aan isku aadiyo 20 page keliya.
Wow. You still did
20
it.
yeah, alhamdulillah. And because comic book waa sawir waaye,
Mm-hmm.
qofka sawiraayo Soomaali mu ahayn.
Yeah.
Soomaalida hal keli uma eko, kulligeena ma wada cadni, kulligeena ma wada madoobin,
Yeah.
kulligeena ma tima adkin, kulligeena ma tima jilicsan, waa isku dhex qasaa ku imaanaa.
Mm-hmm.
And qof wadankii muddo ka maqnaa oo qurbaha kusoo koray, qof aanan weligiisa baadiye aanan arkin ahay.
Mm-hmm.
Sheekadan qorayan waa sheeko fictional oo dhacday 1800-kii dhacday,
Hey. Sheekadu maxay ku
baadiyaheena ka dhacay.
xisaabsan?
So sheekadu waxay qusaysaa gabar yar oo Leyla la dhaho, oo ku nool
Hey.
gobol la dhahaa Midnimo Kingdom, ay ku nool yihiin boqortooyada Midnimo.
Hey.
Marka ayada waxay degan tahay xaafad la dhahaa Barwaaqo. Marka waxaan oo magaalada waxaa soo gashay rumors that dad aan weligooda la arkin in la arkay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So dadka sidii xan ay u ahayd reality ay noqonaysaa.
Oh, okay.
Way soo weeraraan dadkan. Marka waxaa waaye Europeanski, oo waxaa waaye marka dadka afduubanaya oo dadkii oo gadanaya waaye,
Mm-hmm.
waana bilaag waaye. Marka Leylana waa gabadha keli oo aabaheeda uu dhalay,
Oh, okay.
ilmo dhan laga haysto. So it's more like xaqaan u
So you
dagaalamaya,
move.
aba waa dagaalamayaa, iyo gabar baa tahay ma dagaalamayso, joog.
So
Hadda
you
inaan sii wada sheega ma rabiye.
hala ibsado buugga. Hala
Yes.
ibsado. How shaking. Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah. So
waana la
we're not
iibsan
gonna
karaa.
tell the story, guys.
Yes.
but he just touched a little bit of the background of what Layla book, the fiction he wrote. We're not gonna tell you guys the story because we want you to buy it. The
At
benefits Mohammed Allah.
bahdoncomics.com. Yep,
Yes. Are they
bahdoncomics.com. Yep.
on Amazon at this time or?
No, bahdoncomics.com. So how I
Okay.
BAHDOONCOMICS
Okay.
dot com.
Okay.
Bahdoncomics.com. But yes, that was a journey. And then when I overcame all of that,
Hmm.
I was like, where am I gonna get the money to do it?
That's right.
And that itself was a challenge. But so many amazing people have been, by my side through it, and I'm really, really grateful for them. I want to mention, one person that truly, truly, truly stand out, and that's my sister Hirat Sharif.
MashaAllah, she's great.
Oh yes, she has been amazing. And there's a lot of people that I might not be able to mention because some of them don't even want to be mentioned.
Mhm.
Uh, but Hibad was the first person that I kind of contacted and said, "Hey Hibad, I want to do this," um, because I have met her right when I came around, and I told her my plans, and she was like, "Okay, you're going to do it," and I believe that.
Mhm.
So it's crazy because she came through my first play, and
Mhm.
she never missed any project that I have done ever since.
MashaAllah, what
Yeah,
a commitment.
mashallah. So I told Hibat, and Hibat was like, what needs to be done. But in order for me to come online and ask for donation, that itself took a lot from me.
Mhm.
Because one, I'm a healthy young man.
Mhm.
Two, waxaan sameynaya dadkeena saaid uma fahansano.
That's true.
um, wejigaada marka lagu arko marka ninkan uu weyn oo dhahayo lacag halii aruuriyo buug oo waxaan
That,
rabaa sawir inaan qoraan rabaa.
that,
It's really not easy wallahi because
right.
wejigaada line ka dhigtay, sharaftaada line ka dhigtay, in so that itself took a lot of time, but alhamdulillah for people like Hibad. I have amazing group of big brothers, who are always there to make sure that it happens. So I remember I did sample pictures,
Mhm.
um, and then I posted those on Facebook to just see the reaction, how people might react to that. And subhanallah, I was really amazed. And Hayward set up a Kickstarter account, and we raised over 5,000 in 30 days.
MashaAllah, that's
So
great.
that was the biggest
Yes.
advantage. Yes,
So
that
they
was the
say,
biggest advantage.
yeah, they say every great man, there's a good woman behind that, right? I mean, sister, friend, mother, relatives. I mean, there's always somebody better that encourages us no matter what. And what I wanted to come to is, Mohammed, which you captured that at every aspect of a start point of doing
Hmm.
something different in our community or society, there's always that discriminative life that we go through, and or
Hmm.
there's that unaccepted or acceptance that you have to
To
really
go, yes.
fight to go through it.
Hmm.
Tell me, how do you feel about that? Because when I was starting becoming owning my own talk show, which it's going well so far, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
It took me a battle for people to
For,
recognize that I can do my own talk show with live audience, and focus on
hmm
our community
hmm
success, and the wrongs and the
hmm
rights. And because
hmm
I want to remind the community also, just if you don't mind
No,
adding
you're
this,
fine.
I don't have to focus on the good at all times.
Oh
Even the good
yes,
has its own bad.
yes,
So,
ma'am.
there's always something that there's no perfection in anything, yeah. And
Hmm.
it was such a big battle that I have to be neutral on my show, but also sometimes I will have to call on
Oh
things
yes.
that it's not fair or
Hmm.
disliked, and some people don't like that, but
Hmm. Hmm.
a matter of fact, it's like we have to teach our generation, our kids, our community, our society. Things have to change. The good
Yes.
has to be good, the bad
The
has to
bad
be
has to
mentioned.
be.
So how do we fix it? Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the thing. So for you, what you mentioned is the fact that it's had some time for them to accept
All the
what you're
time.
doing. Yeah,
All the time.
exactly. So how did you feel just to be in that situation,
Um, to be
to
honest,
represent?
it's not even a matter of how did you feel. I feel like it's still more of, how do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Because waxaa sheegta waa run waaye. Communitygana waxaan jecelnahay ammaantaan jecelnahay.
Ah, human marab.
Xumaan lama
Oo
rabo.
jiro haddana.
Realityna lama rabo.
Mhm.
Realityga in la ignore garaya waxaa lagu leeyahay solutionka maa fiirisid.
Sax. Solutionkina ma rabaan.
Solution waxaa fahantaa markaa realitygaada aa ogaatid horta
Waaw.
aad ka warhaysid waayo moogtahay.
Sax.
Horta no, and you're a female too, so no disrespect. I don't know. I don't want to imagine how difficult it
Yes.
must have been for you. On
Very.
top of, because aniga and laga yaabo my privilege could literally be being a man,
Sax. Yeah.
right? So
And that's
and
the
I'm
belief that we have.
right, and I want to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to acknowledge that, number one. Number two, I'm glad that your show is running.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. But the way I deal with that, to be honest with you, is to keep in mind, that number one,
Mm-hmm.
the value of what I do uh will never be amounted by what they say,
Sax.
or how much they try to police how I do it,
Mm-hmm.
how much, because this is the truth. Somalidan hal waxaan ku fiicanahay, especially markay ku imaado in terms of representation. Waan aamusanaa, gacmahana saaranaynaa.
Mm-hmm.
Qof ajnabi a imaanayo waan daba istaageynaa.
Mm-hmm.
Wixii markii la dhameeyana caayitinaa bilaabeynaa,
That's true.
ama waan dhagaxaynaynaa, haddana gacmaheena meesha isku saarnaayana kasii wadanaynaa.
That's right.
Right? So, and then the harder thing in Minnesota is also Somalidana. The reason why, and I'm sorry to say this, but someone has to say it. It needs to be
That's
said,
right.
right?
We have to do it.
The reason why Adan working in a lot of production,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of collaboration, Adan working in Wahawaye ego,
Fear of.
your fear of or qofkan kale amu ka weynada,
Sax.
right? And I will give you a great example. Anywhere in the world,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in the world as Somali kunoshay, other than Somalia, Minnesota is number one,
Sax.
right?
That's true.
Whether they talk about Somali success or whatever it is, we have a lot of amazing historic things that Somalis, especially in Minnesota, have accomplished
That's right.
outside of Somalia. But what have we really accomplished as an artistic community,
Mm-hmm.
right? As collectively, what have we accomplished? I could say zero, I could be wrong. I
Right.
could say 20, I could be wrong. It could be more than that, it could be less than that. But one thing that I have seen is everybody's striving alone,
Sax.
right? And there's nothing wrong with that. The reason why I chose to do a comic book was no one was helping me,
Mm-hmm.
you know um if you want to get on maybe certain talk shows or certain platforms, you have to be close with somebody, or you have to know somebody. I don't really have to know you.
That's right.
You don't really have to be best friends with me in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to appreciate you,
Sax.
in order for me to appreciate your art, in order for me to appreciate and uplift what you do, right?
That's right.
So to answer your question, the reason why we're in that predicament and the reason why we're not producing a lot of things is that waa inaa qofka saaxiib la ahaatid,
Mm-hmm.
xiriir la lahaatid.
Demolish of uplifting is in we'll use that word in our community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because waxaan ka wadaa waxay tahay, if we were talking about talent,
Mm-hmm.
oof, it's a different topic,
That's true.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, if I have 100,000 K on my YouTube channel
Ah,
and I like acting, but you a better actor than me, and I know that for a fact,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why shouldn't I put you on my YouTube channel,
Because
right?
you
Because
fear
it's
I'll take the attention.
because why shouldn't I put you on my YouTube channel, have
Yeah.
you as the main star? I work behind the scenes for you. I win, you win.
We win together.
We don't really have that mentality. So everyone how a zero kabilaw 100 utamo.
That's right. Speaking of that part is my mentor is Mas'ad. He's a
Mm-hmm.
very
Mashallah.
amazing, great media person, which he doesn't do his in English. He does it in Somali,
Yeah,
and
VOA Saman Horta.
yes, I went to him and we talked. I asked him his opinion, his thoughts, and how the community will react towards my success on and
Mm-hmm.
so on media. And what I noticed is that when I was coming along to this show, was to
Mm-hmm.
recognize the people who are being not recognized. The first person I remember as an artist that I had called to my show was Ifrah Mansour. She teared
Oh,
up. She was emotional because she said,
Ifrah.
"We do so
Yes.
much that nobody even think that this is important.
Oh yeah,
The
oh yeah.
effort that you guys put in these things, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and in our society thinking that it's not important, that kind of makes it unfair. You know what I mean? So just me wanting to open a platform for everyone, including all activities, yani any discussion, good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
or something
Mm-hmm.
that influences our generation, our community, our society, a change, a resolution, anything that is beneficial and that
Mm-hmm.
can encourage those people who needs it for such a
Mm-hmm.
you guys artists, because nobody is taking artists very serious in our community, but it's an effort thing that you guys are putting every single day.
Oh yeah. Not only effort, not only effort.
Time,
We
energy.
not even time. We're putting our emotions there.
Yes,
You mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned Ifrah Mansour. I love Ifrah Mansour. I
she's
love what she does.
amazing. Yeah.
Um, and one thing that I truly love about Ifrah Mansour and her journey is the way she actually does a one woman show.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I have never experienced. I remember the first time I went to go see her. We She was performing at, excuse me, she was performing at Minnesota History Center,
Yes.
uh, in downtown St.
See,
Paul, and yeah, and I went with the kids, and I remember, at the beginning, the kids couldn't really understand, what was happening, but as soon as they noticed that she was a Somali woman and she was saying things that were familiar to her and all of that,
mhm.
like at the end of that show, a lot of them, their mindset was different,
Yes.
especially a lot of the girls, their entire face was lit up. And I remember I was like, yo, that's my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like this, and they're like, oh, Mr. Muhammad, you really know her. Someone else that I want to mention is Habiba,
Yes.
also known as Hawa Haji, from Canada.
Yes. Um,
Um, you know who I'm speaking of.
yes. Mhm.
I remember a while ago there was this random video running around YouTube, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you have to see the video!" And I'm like, "What is it?" And they're like, "Oh, it's a Somali woman rapping." That's the most they could tell. The point that I'm trying to make is when those kids saw how had doing that,
Mhm.
she will testify to this. Sometimes on my day job, I literally call her phone,
Okay.
maybe just to come down the classroom,
So,
maybe just to come down the lunchtime. I'll be like,
mhm.
oh, whoa, guys, do you know how I had it? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we're going to FaceTime her then.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
you know and people like that do need to be acknowledged.
Mhm.
They do need to hear that. So for Ifrah to do a one woman show, you know
Yes.
what I mean, right?
Uh-huh.
In the name of Somalia, her journey of Somalia anymore,
Mhm.
how she got to where she got to, you know what I mean, right? And
Mhm.
not to be recognized by the own people that she's representing.
That's correct.
it is awful thing. It's the same thing as when we were doing a crack in the sky, at nights we could get 300 plus people in a show, right? 400 in a show. um few heads were Somalis.
Mhm.
Hal gacanaa lagu xisaabin karaa.
Yes, cadaanta
you
ugu
know
badan.
cadaanka ugu badan yaa
I
kalabo.
went to Ifrah Mansour, the civil war,
Ha hat
1886.
hata
90%, I was the mediator for her.
ha
90% of the people that were there were
cadaan waay.
Adan. Why does that
Mhm,
Adan has to be on our own stories? oo dadkeenan
mhm,
caawin lahaayeen.
mhm.
Marka waxyaalo jiro oo ma aragtay inaan anaka bedelno oo
Ha.
anaka noo fiican, especially markay imaado ilmaheena oo ma aragtay mustaqbalka futureka ee wax rabaan inay ka bedelaan, or
Mhm,
they have this emotional stories that changes the future,
mhm, mhm.
especially Ifrah's story was more like this is the
Okay.
past, how do
Mhm,
we move from it, because there's trauma in our community that people are still living under the past. You understand what I mean, right? So inshallah we are hoping for the best. So the success of each and every individuals in this community are my main focus, and the story
mhm,
behind how to move past it and moving forward together as and supporting each other, and not
mhm.
disregarding people who are doing things that are really important to them.
Oh yeah.
And
No, go ahead. It's funny
yeah.
because there's a phrase. I I wouldn't say I created it. Yes, let me own it. Um I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was telling me about this. He's an older brother, he's a mentor. And I met him literally on the streets during the protest, after a long time. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, hey, Mohammed, how are you?" And we just went back and forth, and he told me about the book. And quite frankly, I was shocked, that he actually knew about
Your book.
the comic book. And no offense to him, he's a very hardworking man. He's on the road. I haven't seen him for a couple of years. The point that I'm trying to make is like my expectation is really,
Law.
you know what I mean, right? That low. So we exchanged, and then he called me, and he extended. He said, "Hey, you grew up under me. I want you to be successful. How can I help you?" So we went back and forth, and I remember I told him, Somali then, they will only recognize you when you become something, right?
صح.
Wait, markay ku recognize garayana maxay ku dhahayaan mataqaanaa?
Mm.
War waagu waxay ahayn baan kasi jiray. Right.
Yeah.
so
This is
so I try to tell a lot of not a lot, but almost every Somali artist that I know, hey, look, like we need to stick together
That's right.
as an artistic community. It doesn't matter whether you have a talk show, whether you have YouTube, whether you have a podcast, whether you do poetry, whether you do prank. It doesn't really matter if we can come together. If we, because qof kala aan heedsano ilaahay abuurto way yar yihiin.
Warum?
I don't want to speak like Soomaalideenna dhan inaanan fahmin waxaas. Laakiin inta fahantay intaan fahmin markii la isgarab dhigo, inta
صح.
fahanto eberaa noqonaynaa.
That's true.
Eh, so
Uh,
my only advice is we have to stick together.
That's true. Just
Mhm.
also just because we are not nurses, doctors, PhD, all that. We're good at other things, and I
Oh
think the
yes,
credit
100%.
goes to everyone with their effort, which is I'm amazed with a lot of people who are unique on their own way.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that I would like to remind the community, since we're having this discussion, it's not how many likes I get. It's not how
Oh
many
yes.
people watching my show or who are not. It's not about, it's the effort that you don't stop, you keep going, that
Mm-hmm.
benefits even the little that are watching, even the little that are listening, even the little that are liking what you're doing. You could be unique and different,
Oh yes. Oh
because
yes.
what you share nowadays, the trending is the bad thing you do, the more attentions you get. The good thing you do is barely even recognized. Yani, yeah, it's like totally in another world. So listen, some people ask me, Shukri, you need to do this, you need to do that, and like you know,
Before I do any of that, are you supporting what I'm doing right now?
I am supporting what you're doing
No, no, waxaa ka wadaa dadka
for
markay sis
them.
ku
Yes,
dhahayaan, yeah, you know.
exactly. You will see people will criticize your work, but they're barely even
Never
understanding
supported it.
how far you've come, yani, to
Mhm.
where you are.
Right
They
now,
don't
yes.
understand that. You know
You
what
know,
I mean?
yeah, it's like I get a lot of people, right? They're like, bugal fiirinaya mise waa laga hadlayaa, and they're like, wuu fiican yahay laakiin waxaa
You could.
fiicnaan lahayd like animation inaad ka dhigtid baa fiicnaan lahayd. And to be honest with you, sometimes I want to explode. You know, like I want to go off and be like, okay, waa ka dhigaa ma adigaa lacag siinaysid, you know,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
because ma buugiyaadan gadaninbo,
Mm-hmm.
maxaa qarash kala oo buuggan ka badan igu diri aanan
Criticized.
daawan doonin,
Yes,
right?
criticized. Yeah.
And mideeda kale maraykanaa la joogaa realityga marka laga hadlo,
Mm-hmm.
and dad badan hadda waxay u maleeyaan inaa maalaayacni ay tahay waxa ana ka sameyno,
That's right.
ba runta jirta waxay tahay ilmahooda by now they're 18, ama hadday dhasheen ama hadday soo koraan, hadhow marka waxaa lagu leeya ilmihii soomaali ma kasaayaan, alla dhaqankii baan ilownay, alli kan baan ilownay.
Mm-hmm.
Soomaaliya markii la joogay ma dhaqanka yaa bari jiray
My.
dadka? Sheego band iyo banaadiri iyo meeqaa guruboo jiri jirta ee soomaaliya ku faani jirta, meeqaa maslax oo soomaaliya ku yaali jiray, macnaha hidaha iyo dhaqanka oo ilaa hadda soo gaarayaa soo gaarsiiye.
Yep, it's what we see.
Marka waa walahi waxa waaye, it's very complicated, but aniga at the moment my goal is to make sure that I put in effort, that I do better than, you know, my last project.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't really have to, you know, get into a group of people, or, you know, limit my circle
Your
or
success,
my
yeah.
friends. For me, I'm willing to collaborate with anyone who's willing to collaborate with me, you know. I'm willing to sit down and listen to anyone who has a beautiful idea, and it doesn't matter whether I'm the main actor, or, you know, the camera guy, or the behind the scenes guy,
So,
because at the end of the day it takes a village.
mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, dadka Soomaalidan filimka waxaan u maleynaa camerada, editing, wax kasta inuu hal qof sameeyo,
Yeah. So,
ama halka qof oo camerada keli ee aragto ii sheeg oo la recognize garay some of the biggest words oo adduunyada laga qabto,
that's
dadka
right.
wada qaata, dad aan weligooda maqalna xataa maahan, wejiyadooda aan aragna xataa maahan.
Waron, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know how many writers, how many producers, designers, action, you know, cinematography,
Exactly.
waa la kala shaqaystay.
Yeah, I know.
Anaka
Waron.
marka anaka hale waxaana yara celisa marka waa ani aad inaan isku fiicnaano.
Mm-hmm. It's garab qabano.
May macnaha like ani aad inaan saaxiibo ahaano,
To
sidaasaan ku
create.
caawinaya. Ha,
Mm-hmm. That is true.
haddii kale soo mahan hade
Mm-hmm.
waan ku kala yacaynaa waaye.
That's true. And my focus more is where we've come a long way. It has
Uh-huh.
to be appreciated. It has to be noticed, and that's how we do it. And each Aniga Hatan, for my show right now is more like it's not an easy thing. I have script writer, I have email writer, I have people that are working with me, and matter of fact, not getting paid, not getting anything out of this, and we are working like crazy. Any story we want to talk about, any guests we're inviting, anything that we're doing, I have Valerie working for me, and sharing these community stories and amazing connections with all these people in our community. Waqof adan or waxba
Imagine,
uu ka helaynin,
imagine,
maaragtay.
imagine
So
that.
and dadkeena way ku imaanayaan, meesha maxaa ka haysa. It's like you're watching my show, are you? So um uplifting each other, respecting each other, and being giving a future for what the kids are looking up to. Those are the people
Mhm,
I'm looking for. Ani ilmo waan leeyahay, waxaan raba
mhm,
ilmahayga markay weynaadaan ay
mhm,
mustaqbal yeeshtaan. Maanta aniga haddaan dhinto, what are the history I left? Not negative things, not in
mhm.
aniga wax xun oo maanta oo ilmahay mustaqbalkooda oo u fiicnayn ma rabi inaan ka tago moogta.
Aga tago,
I want
uh-huh.
my kids to look at like, oh, mom did this for this person. Oh,
Mm,
wow, this person was the person who did this and this. Muhammad wrote a book for kids and this and that.
mm,
those are things that are left behind for our own kids, and this
Exactly.
is a recognition for everyone that
I
they're having kids, they're
uh-huh.
raising men, they're raising women.
Women,
Yeah,
boys, girls.
yeah.
I would like to add a little to that. It's really funny you mentioning that because horta qaladka naga weyn oo na haystaan ku sheegaya.
Mm-hmm.
Anakoo qurbaha joognaa waxaan rabnaa ilmaheen inaan u korino Soomaaliga inaan joogno camal,
صح. Mm-hmm. And we
right?
had.
That's meesha aan ka fail garaynayno meeshaas waaye.
Well,
Um, now because iskoolaa ka shaqeeya ani 2 sano iskool dhex taagnaa.
mm-hmm.
Ilmaha iyo waalidiintooda waxaa laga yaabaa cunuga subaxii la keenayaa daycare la geenayaa iskoolkaa la keenayaa
Mm-hmm.
daycare anaka ku dejinaynaa.
صح.
Daycareka waxaa laga yaabaa habeenkii in laga qaado
Mm-hmm.
2 saac habeenimo 3 saac habeenimo
صح.
5 days a week, Saturday and Sunday dugsi in la aado waayo.
صح.
Saturday and Sunday dugsi
Do.
in la aado waayo.
Mm-hmm.
Ilmaha qaarkood ayagoo 6th grade ku jiraa daycare la geeyaa.
Mm-hmm.
Horta marka cunug oo horta saas ku soo koray
Mm-hmm. مستقبل كيس.
maanta mustaqbalkiisa ma furnaan karo mana
No.
dhamaystirnaanayo. Sababtan u dhamaystirnaan karnaa waxay tahay ii sheeg maskixiyan,
Mm-hmm.
because macalinka oo waxa uu dhigaya laga yaabo 99% inuu ajnabi yahay.
صح.
And childhood uu aga sheekeynay, shalay saahayna laga sheekeyn. Wallahi ilmaha Soomaalida weekendka maxaa qabatay markii la waa same sheekay wada haystaan.
What?
YouTube channel aa sameeyey, YouTube channel aa iska daawaday, dugsiga aaday waa ka soo laabtay.
Mm-hmm.
Waxaa laga yaabaa marka waalid oo ilmihii ka celiyay inay channelo sheekooyin iyo waxaas ay furtaan ay ka celinayaan, laakiin way u ogol yihiin inay channelo kale oo isku dad ahayn, isku diin ahayn, isku maqal ahayn inay dhegeystaan.
Wow, very disturbing.
So runta markii la sheego waxaa waaye xataa mana aaminsan, xataa macnaha weli aaminaada nagu jirto, weli inkiraan ku jirnaa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
weli inkiraadaan ku jirnaa. Waxaa lagu yidhi war anaka Soomaaliyana naga daa waxaas ma sameynaa.
صح.
Soomaaliyana waxaas nagama soo goormaan ku jiraynaa dee 30 sano xabad aan isdaba taagnayn. Haddee taas naga suurtooday for 30 years, anything else aa naga suurtoobo
Wow.
iyo everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Marka my only advice is qofkii Maraykan ilmo ku korinayo ilmihiina dhegeysta.
Mm-hmm.
Everything oo wax la barto way noqon karaan.
Wow.
Ayagoo wax baranna wax way noqon karaan. Macnaha markaan ka wada ayagoo wax badan meeqaa qof oo macnaha oo ilaahay khibrad qoritaan u siiyo
Wow.
ama oo ciyaar qoritaan u siiyo. Ciyaar markaan ku dhahay balooni iyo uu qoritaan u siiyo maanta oo professionalka meeshaan wadankii lama joogo ama Afrika lama joogo. Ilmaha waxbarasho fiican ay haystaan. Xaalaha ilmaheen ay u baahan yihiin in laga dhiso waxaa waaye waa moral support ay u baahan yihiin. Waa in la dhaho waa lagu aaminay, riyadaadii way rumoobi kartaa, laakiinse tanaa xaaraan ah, saanay xaaraan u tahay, tanaa xalaal ah, saanay xalaal u tahay.
Waa sax. Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed. Would you like to add anything for those of reality and all the audience that are tuning in and watching you? You're amazing writer. You're doing a great job, and I'm hoping in Anku Garab Khabto and anything that you are ubahantay, whatever you need. We are all here. We are all gonna be in this together. We're support. What we are learning here today is we need the support of others. We need people to believe in you guys with your hard work. And we want not to be discredited in our community, in our society, to believe that everybody is unique in their own way. Ilahi وقف والبوحوسي وحي أيك وقف ما في Somali رياض لكن
ما إيش الصعب كفي عنانا.
so يعني وح أنا كده وح عن كبرنا إنه موقت قف أو ما أنت ساقع أو وح البوقف يعني هاي ملا دلنا موقت. So and you guys being great artists, good writers, and bringing all this and encouraging the younger generation in our community, in our society, and sending out the stories out there. You know, a lot of people from out of the countries are watching on my show. Matter of fact, when I went to Africa, I was amazed how many people watch Dose of Reality, and they're like, "Oh, are you from America? Are you from Dose of Reality?" That means that they're watching these little stories that this African people aan kasoo imaanay anaka dhan oo Africa ka imaanay mustaqbal fiican baan dadkeena xasuusinayno. We didn't forget يعني we didn't forget, we're still the same people we are, and we have these stories. Just watching you, knowing that Muhammad writes a comic book for younger kids, and how amazing is that for a child living back home looking up to you, Muhammad, يعني, you know. So our mind has to be more broader than what it
Then
is right now, with the limitation
yes.
of discrimination in our society, inshallah. And I hope my show will benefit a lot of people that have fear of coming out to tell us their talent. And it's an open platform. Please, this is a message for everyone who is watching. You want to tell a story, you want to talk about your success, and you want to share it, you want to encourage anybody, you want to share your thoughts, please do not be afraid. I am here to listen. And I have a platform for everyone to take a use out of it, inshallah. Yeah? And Mohammed, I really appreciate you joining
No,
us
thank you.
today and having this discussion, because it's gonna benefit a lot of people, you know.
No.
waxyaalaha ku hadashay waa waxyaalo oo aad u muhiimsan oo dadkeena iyo idinka oo isku xiran oo aan noo baahan tihiin ma ogtahay. So aada u mahadsantahay. I am very
Mudan.
Is there a message
Thank
you'd
you so
like
much.
to send?
Um, thank you for having me. And it was an interesting topic. My only message is qofa u sheegaya ma lahan ilmahooda siday u korsan lahayn ma ogtahay,
Wow.
because weli anbo ilmo weligay ma dhalin,
Wow.
weligay waalid ma soo noqon, laakiinse iskool waan kasoo shaqeeyay in badan, ilmana boog waan u qoray, macnaha ilmana waan soo safgareedin muddo the only tala aan kula talan lahaa waxaa waaye cunugaada ama cunugtaada gabartaada mise wiilkaada hadduu ku imaado ku dhaca buu buugaan qoraya ama aabow kanaan sameynaya ama kaan haye ama may intaadan dhihin kaale ii sheegda sababtaa u sameynaysid. halahaas keli sababtoo meeshaan maraykanaa la joogaa. qofkii xanjada la ruugo, qofkii qurqurxiya oo wadada la istaago waa laga gadanay. macnaha waa wadan oo macnaha oo dreamska oo laga xushmeeyo waaye. not only Maraykan, anywhere but communitygeena reality marka laga hadlo 99%. marka insha Allah ilmihiina dhegeysta xaaraanta waaye la dhahay hala joojiyo, sababtay xaaraanta u tahayna ha loo sheego, sababtay xalaasha u tahayna ha loo sheego. I think growing up taasaana laga wada ilooway oo waxaan xaraan waa sameynayn iyo waxaan xalaal waa sameyn. hadda waxaa arkaysaa ilmahan markay iska weynaadaano wixii weligooda laga celinayo uuna loo sheegin sababta loogu celin inay beri ku dhaqaaqaano. marka insha Allah, as far as artists go, there's nothing wrong with it. It has a future, it's promising. marka insha Allah, buugana hala gado, bahjoncomics.com. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate everyone else that was watching us and watching Those of Reality and supporting Those of Reality and being there for us. And we are going to try our best to work hard also and give it back to the community. Mohammed, good evening, Abu Mane. You have
Good
a great
evening. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Yeah.